Hello, my name is Peter Green and I'm the owner and founder of Yowowa Media. In a broadcast on Wednesday of last week, another local podcast, Citizens United with John and Lisa, launched into an hour-long tirade about a situation that involved our company. Yowowa Media is home to 7 weekly podcasts on a diverse range of topics. We are steadfast supporters of free speech, a free press, and we are dedicated to giving voices to parts of our community that may not otherwise have such a voice. One of these podcasts, Community Accountability with Hugh Carroll, took place on Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. The simple fact is, what we learned before Christmas was that Mr. Carroll was a sexual offender and was listed on several listings and databases. When we learned this, he was forthcoming with the information and shared the details of his background without hesitation and agreed that we would terminate his involvement with the program immediately. The operators at the other broadcast facility who produce a podcast called Citizens United with John and Lisa discovered this information before we did. They began notifying people, including people who host or are involved in our shows. They did not notify myself or our team. Instead, the host, John Ristino, contacted our associates in such a way that our associates ascertained he was making more of a move to get at our company using this issue as a means of discrediting us. I'm here today to clarify and respond to allegations made on their program on December 30th. We found the program on Facebook under the title Citizens United with John and Lisa. This was my first time watching any of their programs since we dismissed them from Yowowa Media on November 8th of 2020. And despite some audio difficulties, we were able to view the show and are here to respond to what we will show are lies and misleading statements. You should watch the entire program despite the audio and decide for yourself. For the purposes of this statement, I've taken several clips from their program in order to demonstrate the misinformation. Nearly the entire episode revolves around their accusations and assertions that Yowowa Media and myself hid a sexual predator. Nothing could be further from the truth. When the information was made clear to us, we acted immediately to suspend the show and deal with it as we have done, professionally and without personal malice. What concerns us are several key elements of their broadcast. First, that they are acting as investigative reporters.
This investigation isn't over. It's far from over. We have more information, but like you said, there's lawyers watching. We're going to be careful with our words, but this is far from over.
Nothing could be further from the truth. Their behavior, as you will see, is more along the lines of vindictive school children. For example, they state that we went after a local attorney now on trial for multiple counts of rape and sexual assault, which we did. But we were doing it for nearly 9 months. We maintain a detailed record of our attempts to contact that attorney, our correspondence, and our actions. We called that attorney for comment and to respond. At the same time, Citizens United added the other night to the mention of our efforts that as we did too, as if they were involved. And Citizens United, nor any of their hosts were never involved in any way in the investigation, the pursuit, and the public awareness program that we undertook.
But how the hell? This is a company who just went after Nick D'Angelo just like we did.
And referring back to being investigative journalists, they did not contact us for any statements or comments, and they were not blocked from doing so by any circumstances. They simply saw this matter as a means of discrediting our company. Another key element is their admonition of how we handled the situation and their statements that they informed the parents. Throughout the program, they mentioned that they reached out to parents and even go so far as to claim we saved some children.
We're not going to turn our heads. We already stopped this show, and I believe we potentially saved children.
Now, we have a children's program ready to roll out when COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. We tested the program and continue to do so with a weekly program that involves 6 children, all boys. 5 are from one family and 1 from another family. I interviewed both of the mothers by phone One at an event yesterday and the other called me, and I recorded their conversations. Listen for yourself. Hi, and can you give me your name, please?
Crystal Penvos.
And Crystal, I'm doing this formally just so our audience will be aware. There were some concerns raised, and we want to be careful about this. How many kids do you have working in our kids program on Thursdays?
1.
Okay, how old is he?
9.
Okay, and are you here with him when he's here?
Yes, I am.
Right. At any time, has an individual by the name of Hugh Carroll been in this room or with them in the last couple of months?
No.
No, but did you receive a call or a notification from a podcast? It could be someone named Wade Van Valkenburg, John Rustino, or Lisa Dorado. Did you receive a call or a notice about Mr. Carroll in our operating in our studio?
No, I didn't.
You didn't. So they didn't notify you as a parent of one of the children in our program?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to verify that with you, and that's it. We really appreciate your time.
Sure.
Thank you for taking a moment here to talk with me. I'm with Jen, the mother of 5 of the boys. Well, introduce yourself, Jen.
I'm Jennifer, the mother of the 5 boys from the studio.
Well, that was a little redundant, sorry. No, but in all seriousness, I mean, an allegation was made recently that the parents were contacted from our program, and you know what it was about. Did anyone contact you from the other podcast about this?
I was never directly contacted about anything. The only reason I found out anything about it is I just happened to be on Facebook and was wondering what was going on, why there was arguing back and forth, and saw that there was an issue, but was never directly contacted.
By them?
By them, no.
And how do you feel about the way we run our children's program and the way we take care of the kids? Because you've got 5 of the 6 with us.
Well, in my experience, I mean, every single time, if anything, I think that you've always been overly protective, if anything, always make sure that there's more than one person with the kids and that they're taken care of. And I don't know, I feel pretty safe.
Oh, thank you very much. And we have taken action, as we promised, about the individual to ensure that there never was any alone time with kids, and there won't be. But I appreciate that. And we look forward to having your boys as part of our program.
Thank you.
Thank you. As you'll see, at no time did anyone from Citizens United contact either of these mothers, and all 3 hosts are on Facebook with the mother of the 5 boys. This constitutes a blatant lie on their part, and is further evidence that their intentions are not simply to protect children.
I am extremely concerned about many kids that were there. And like I said, this investigation is not over.
Sadly, and perhaps fortuitously now, Wade Van Valkenburg, the host of the show, was supposed to be a part of our children's program, but stopped communicating with us nearly 2 months ago. Recent exchanges are available on the Yowowa Media Facebook page, and they outline this story. But we would be delighted to post another video that contains all the emails, text messages, and receipts that address their allegations that we stole money from them. That may be our next publication. The most irritating lie comes from Mr. Van Valkenburg, who states that Mr. Carroll, the sexual offender, was alone with the children. View this.
You would want to know if there was a child predator with your kid, alone with your kid. How the hell wouldn't you want to know that?
Nothing could be further from the truth. At no time was Mr. Carroll with our children's program. The only time a young person was in contact was during Mr. Carroll's show, when his engineer was the eldest of our students, 15 at the time and right now producing this video. At no time was Mr. Carroll alone with our student. Barbara Boland and myself were always there, and mostly together, or at least one of us present at all times. I will say it again, Mr. Carroll was never at any time alone with one of our children. Yet Mr. Van Valkenburg utters the words as if it actually happened. As you heard from one of the mothers, we operate under the child-safe regulations that prohibit adults from being one-on-one with the children in our studio. We always operate that way. The other mother has been there every day that her son is with us. Both mothers trust us implicitly, and we do not take their trust for granted. When our youth program launches, all staff and personnel having contact with the young people will undergo a background check and will be paid to attend a child-safe training session. Yet we have the hosts of Citizens United admonishing us for something we didn't do. They assume something and use it in an attempt to discredit us. The entire program last week was filled with such lies, innuendo, and shady allegations that sadly seem to befit their style and presentation. Adding insult to injury is a comment shared between them when discussing the death of one of our host's dogs, as you will see.
Yes. So keep it on there.
Right. And you know what's really, isn't it a crazy coincidence how a dog dies for the third time? This dog has 3 lives now. Apparently they canceled the show over at Yowowa 2 days ago, claiming their dog died. But this dog has died 3 times in the last 5 months.
Dog has died 3 times. You know what?
These must be some new type of broadcaster to find such humor in the death of a dog. The dog did die once. And a viewer who saw both their program and follows ours agreed that my colleague spoke of his dog dying earlier. My father died on November 23rd, so we can only assume that these hosts were laughing about that as one of the 3 deaths that they found so humorous. One cannot account for taste. Yet another concern was the issue of whether or not I, Peter Green, am a member of the New York Watchman. I have attended their Level 1 orientation, and I consider myself a member with an appreciation for their values, objectives, and rules. Now here's the Citizens United take on the Watchman.
So yes, is Green with the group, the Watchman, anyone?
Yes,
William
yes.
Nye is asking.
Yes.
Green is with the group, the Watchman.
Yes.
Well, he's allowing them to do a show in the studio, so I don't know what that
Correct.
means. You know, he's
Right.
all about the voices, and people need to be heard, and people are,
And preaching hate.
Yeah,
Preaching
preaching
hate.
hate.
So,
Yeah. Oh, Kim Guthrie says William Nye, yes.
John, what do you got?
Yeah.
So these investigative journalists have labeled the Watchmen as haters and racists. When we first learned of the Watchmen at Yowowa Media, we invited them to be on one of our programs back in early October 2020. We learned a great deal about who they are and what they do. Now, they are clients and they produce their podcast on Wednesdays. Regardless of my personal beliefs, I will always defend free speech, and they are welcome to share their beliefs. We do not condone hate speech nor hate in any fashion, and maintain that regulation with their cooperation. Yowowa Media listens, we learn, and we offer a platform that upholds our Constitution. It seems to be a concept that's hard for some people to grasp. Finally, the Citizens United team are treading on shaky ground when they continuously label Mr. Carroll a predator. They do so repeatedly, and here's an example. There is a difference between a sexual offender and a sexual predator. As you've seen in these clips, if the Citizens United team did everything else that you saw, it doesn't surprise me they mishandled this term as well.
Really bizarre, man.
It's
Very
extremely
bizarre.
How do you turn it around on us? How in the world you have a guy on the sex registry list? You have all of that. How do you turn it to where it's someone else's fault? For what?
Informing the parents. We're villains. Super villains.
Informing the parents
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean, it's
sports
something that I
podcast.
think probably slipped through the cracks because I don't even understand how any of this went on.
Mr. Van Valkenburg, you're going to receive an invitation from our investigative news operation, WNY Reach, to come on a panel discussion program about this matter so that we can put it to rest. As you're obviously the host and leader, you would be invited to represent Citizens United. We'll come prepared with the emails, texts, videos, and other evidence like we've shown here for our side of the presentation, and you're welcome to bring anything you need or wish to. And finally, this matter was handled professionally, and it was handled properly by Yowowa Media. Yowowa, by the way, comes from the name of a dog. This video was produced and will be edited by the young man, as I said, who worked on Hugh Carroll's shows. Since when are sexual offenders not permitted to have a voice or an opinion? I loathe Mr. Carroll's crime and all sex crimes, but my faith teaches me to love the sinner but not the sin. Mr. Carroll sought to better his community. I agree, he should have been more forthcoming with us and sooner, and I do appreciate the revelations that Citizens United brought to our attention. I'm not freaking out about this entire matter because we operate in such a way that children are protected by redundant safeguards. As you heard both parents say, we take it very, very seriously. The emails to you and your co-hosts, the ones you joked about on your program, were overtures to try and settle this quietly. Instead, you chose to continue to hurl insults and accusations on your social media. You resorted to homophobic jokes to try and offend me, and your homophobia was immediately evident, for which you did apologize on the same thread. It's still there. And I'm glad to say we do copy everything, and we can repost it if you need. You mentioned that one of your host's daughters lit up our Facebook page and that we erased it. You'll notice that when you raised the same issues about money invested before you ceased contact with us and disappeared, we responded and left them there. Please fight your own battles, and do not leave it to a young woman having a tantrum. The matter did not concern her. We do not suppress free speech, only rank stupidity. Mr. Carroll did nothing to arouse suspicion, conducted himself professionally and honorably, and was respected and appreciated by his engineer and the adults who were in the studio at the same time. When we learned of his past, he acted honorably, we acted professionally. After watching your show, Citizens United, a process I hope I never have to repeat, I think you could all learn something from Mr. Carroll. Let he among you who is without sin cast the first stone. Let's end this.